But all this week, there is this beautiful message pressing into me. It has been spoken to my heart, and I've even filmed a short about this today because this is how I've been feeling. And I want to talk about gratitude. Gratitude, not as just this thankfulness that we feel when something good happens, but gratitude as its full on emotional value. It is, in what I'm starting to understand, the base to everything in our life. Gratitude, it's showing itself to me as the base of abundance, the base of authenticity, and the base of acceptance. And why now? Why do I feel this? I don't know. I have just been feeling more and more grateful for everything around me. Grateful for my body, grateful for the way that it keeps me alive, and it allows me to go through all the experiences that I am. Grateful for my past, for all the difficulties that I've experienced, for all the things that are now the amount of the experience of who I am. And if I didn't have that, all the bad stuff, bad, things that we usually label bad, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be here experiencing and finally understanding what gratitude really is. So, my point being, gratitude is the base of everything in our life. And the day that we discover this, the day that we discover that being grateful for everything, every single little thing that happens to us, becomes a magnet to manifest, to magnetize people around us, to bring things to us, to attract experiences in our life, projects, um, collaborations, jobs, whatever it is that our souls have been craving for. And it is gratitude that brings that to us. Yeah, well, Lygia, gratitude is all of a beautiful world, and I am a very grateful person, but it's not the same as being thankful. Being grateful for something is not thankfulness. Someone gives you something you were expecting, you say thank you so much. But gratitude is something that runs deeper. It's like when you walk outside and you see a ray of sun after a week of rain, and you feel inside of you like that ray of sunshine is really shining inside of you. You're so grateful that you were alive at that moment, to be outside, to be able to experience that. And in the moment that you see that ray of sun and you are grateful for that, it's almost like there is this veil that false, and you start looking around and you see more things to be grateful for. And after that, we see more things in our own life that we could be grateful for. And you see the things that you actually have, and the things that we actually have right now are abundance. And then lack, the things that we think that we need in order to be happy, are not that important anymore. And when we stop focusing on those things because we are so grateful for the things we already have right now, we start attracting abundance in our life. And then things start to come into your life. I mean, let me ask you this, because sometimes we don't think about these things, but when you really got things happening to you that you weren't expecting, like, this surprise, like someone just call you and gave you this news of, oh, you just got this or that, and you're just so happy, like, how this happened to me. Or you just got offered a job that you were trying for like a year and you weren't able to get, and then suddenly, out of the blue, you just get called, and someone is offering you that. Where were you? in your life at that point? Were you concentrating in the fact that you didn't have that job, that you didn't have money, that you didn't have this or that in your life? Or was that in a moment where you were focused on everything but that? That you maybe were even like, you know what? F all of that. It didn't happen until now. I'm done about just getting put down by all of that. Those were the moments. Hi. Those moments where we are actually not focusing on the bad things, or the things that we don't have, are the moments where they just come like galloping inside of our life, like horses, bam, bam, bam. And that is the moment where we stop focusing on everything that we are not happy about, and we start focusing on things that we are grateful. If you have children, you start focusing on the fact that, look at my children, they are so beautiful. I gave birth to those, or I'm a father to those, and look at them, they're playing, being themselves. Look at them, even when they are not feeling so well, and you look at them and you're so happy to be able to have a child that you are guiding. They are having a tantrum. It's okay, because you love them to the depths of yourself, and you're so grateful because they are there. Even when they are having a tantrum, you are so grateful for that kid in front of you. It's yours. So it's the same. So that gratefulness for them, even when they are having a tantrum, even when they are doing something totally crazy, it's what brings that magnetism, and they are attracted to you. Like, this person, they feel your love, they feel your that woozing of our sweetness towards them, even when they are not in their best, and attracts them to us, to listen to us, to be with us. So when you focus on that, now bringing this back to the generally, to going into the gratitude of whatever it is in your life, that's when we realize that I have more to thank for than, even when, and let me be sensitive here, because not all of us have more to be thankful than not. And I don't want to be insensitive towards anyone that is feeling right now, I have nothing to be thankful for, because those moments happen. But I wanted to help in that moment. So be someone that is telling you, even in those moments, and believe me, I've been there, and I know how hard it is to be in moments where you're looking around you, you're really grasping for straws, like, oh, you really want to find something to be grateful for. And there is, be grateful for yourself. You are going through that, and you're alive, and you are looking around, looking for things to be grateful for. Be grateful for your strength of being at that moment. And in moments where we don't have anything palpable to be grateful for, we can be grateful for ourselves. It's not egoistical to be grateful for yourself, for your spirit, for your beautiful soul, for your capacity of being loving, even when life is not sunshine and lollipops, to be, just to be, just to be there. And it sometimes starts by feeling a little bit fake. And I just read, so what you give attention to grows. It's so true. And in that moment, if we give attention to all the beautiful things that we are going to start focusing all of that energy of everything is raining down on my parade, and it's going to start growing into you, this feeling of like, but I'm still here, and things are going to start changing. And that's when abundance is going to start coming back. And abundance, we tend to think about abundance and correlate it with money and mm, possessions and career enhancements and stuff like that. But abundance can be, or can come into our lives in small small things, like someone calls us in that moment where we are feeling like, I don't even know what to be grateful for, and they say like, oh, I just wanted to check on you. that is abundance, because in that moment, that's what we needed. That's the moment we were craving for something good. And I think that then being grateful that happened can be a really good way to start changing our life. And I say this because I've been experiencing this. This is why it was pressing on me, like, talk about it, because maybe it it would help me to talk about it, to realize this feeling, this enhanced feeling of gratefulness. And maybe it would also help someone else around to look around in a moment where you're all about all around you is darkness, and then you suddenly start to see this light in the end of the tunnel. Yeah, I am really grateful that, for example, I have this phone in front of me and I can be looking into something that really makes me feel better in a moment where I feel horrible. And from then on, I think, and I don't think I know, this is when we start changing, those wheels that keep turning into the direction that we don't want them to turn, they start stopping and going into a different direction. And this is what sometimes people call the, how do you say, hmm, I'm swimming on my words. When you start reframing, reframing your nervous system, and we start giving attention, like someone said and beautifully, to something different. And when we start redirecting our attention, we start also giving a different dimension to things in our head, and we start retraining our brains. And you'll see, and I think this is what I've been noticing this week, that when I look at things right now, I am not automatically seeing everything that is wrong, or seeing everything that could hurt me, or all the ways that something could irritate me. For example, I don't know, I am I am now automatically, or it's starting to come naturally to me, to look around me and see things that I could be grateful for. And it's changing my vision of my life, of my world, because we are all our own lives in our own bubbles. And I am not saying that my life is comparable to anyone's, because we all have our own bubbles, our own experiences, and what's happening to me, it's maybe similar from something that's happening to you, but the way you experience your experience is totally different than mine. But I think this is similar to all of us. The way that you look into your experience, it starts changing. And slowly, when I'm looking around me, I'm starting to see things from a different perspective. And I'm starting to turn my attention to things to be grateful for. And I'm noticing that when I turn my attention to the things that I'm grateful for, things that I am happy to see, glad to experience, anything, I start attracting into my life more of that. I start attracting more happiness. I start attracting people who want to smile, people who want to be grateful for things also in their life. And everything start. It's almost like you start seeing or envisioning the nuance of color in your life changing. Is almost like going from the gray, and then you start seeing some color, and then suddenly the rainbow starts appearing. And I'm not saying like my life is going it's rainbows and lollipops because of this. I'm just saying that being grateful, it's the base of everything. Being grateful for everything we have, because the simple fact that sometimes we have a family is abundance. Because if we look around, there's people that maybe don't have that support. The simple fact that we are here sitting with our phone is, for example, something to be grateful for. It's abundance. You have a phone, you have something to to entertain yourself right now. I don't know, the drink we are drinking, the food we are eating, the sun on your face, the window you are looking to, the bird that just stopped in the branch in the tree in front of your house and made you look at it and smile, it's something to be grateful for. It's an opportunity. And I think that every moment of our life is an opportunity to change whatever it is that is hurting us, and whatever it is, and we have more power over those kinds of things than what we think, because we think sometimes that we are powerless to change the lack in our life, to change whatever it is that we are experiencing that is not so good. But we do have a lot of power to influence those things. And for me, today, the way that we look into those things and the way that we decide to experience things around us, it's a very important base and step to change everything around us. So I would say this to myself, so I'm saying this to everybody: grab the opportunity. Be grateful for yourself today. Be grateful that you're here. Be grateful that you exist, that you gave yourself the chance to come into this life, to make choices, to go to different experiences and make yourself into whatever it is that you want to become. And it doesn't matter that right now you are not where you think you should be. Because to me, we are all wherever we are, it's exactly where we should be. But apart the cliche, be grateful for where you are, because this is going to this you are making yourself into the amazing future being that you are going to be. Because if you look into yourself 10 years ago, you were not half of what you are today. And if you look to yourself in 10 years from now, you are not going to be the same person. So being grateful for that chance of becoming, for that chance of existing, it's it's the base for starting to being to change, change your nervous system, change the way you see the world, change the way you see yourself. Because I think the most important thing is not the world around us, is the way that we see ourselves, the way that we are grateful for ourselves, for our own experience, for the way that we are, for our bodies that signal us when something is not right, for anything that makes us who we are today, with the flaws, with the qualities, with everything. The base of life is gratitude. Gratitude makes us magnets to everything that we decide to concentrate on. And if we decide to concentrate on gratitude, positive things, positive, something that you want, that's what's going to come to you. So, for example, really quick, this week I had a job interview, and I saw myself into a situation where I saw myself many times in my life, and where I usually lose my bearings, because I lose my confidence. I get very nervous, flustered, and it's almost like all my being disappears. And I get just overwhelmed by the experience. But not this week, because I was grateful for whatever I was at that moment. And I was not thinking about what I wasn't. I was not focusing in what I was going or not going to get. I was focusing on being grateful that I had a chance to show myself how I am today into that place. I showed up, we will see. And for the first time, I was not thrown out. I wasn't completely flustered. The amount of nervousness was totally okay. It's okay to be nervous in new situations, but there was an amount of confidence because I was grateful for myself. I was grateful for who I am today, and for the kind of person that I have become, that the kind of person that was molded by all the experiences that I have been having until now. And just by that simple thing of, I am grateful for who I am today, I am happy with it, and we will see, made the experience not 10 times better, but 100 times better. I was so surprised. I was like, this is the first time in my life where I could experience, in a practical situation, the difference of the mind shift, of the consciousness shift, of the spiritual growth, the self-love that I've been saying, that I've been giving myself all of this time, was showing at that moment. Because when we love ourselves and we are grateful for the being that we are today, with our flaws today, with our qualities today, with anything, when we accept ourselves, that starts reverberating outside, and then people around me responded to that. I didn't felt like they were evaluating me anymore. I felt like we were in a conversation and we were in this energetic exchange. I was giving them who I was at that point, who I was grateful to be at that point. I was grateful for them being there, wanting to give their time, their attention to me, wanting to really actually understand if there was a click, if there was something. And instead of me giving and they're taking, it was like I was giving them my energy, they were giving me theirs, and there was an exchange. And I was curious about them, they were curious about me, and it was not anymore like that feeling, that pressure of judgment, and that pressure of that we normally in society feel like someone is expecting something from me, I gotta give. No, it was me just being me, exchanging with them, and being grateful for the chance that I had. And it went well. And I never had an experience like that in my life. And the day before I had that interview, it was the day where I felt this depth of gratitude for just everything about my life. And where I started with everything, I was like, every time that I'm grateful, that manifests abundance. And that and then I had that experience in that job interview, and I was amazed by what just the simple fact that being grateful, being brings such so much abundance in many forms. So I would say be open to that. And I mean, I am not trying to give anyone advice, but I'm just trying to bring this to light, because I think it's so important, because it brought me so much this last few times, being grateful for the for things that come into my life. It helped me shift finally. We sometimes talk about in shifting identities, shifting situations, shifting mindsets, but that doesn't happen in 2 steps, or it doesn't happen in a period of time. It's not like, oh, I'm going to shift my mindset in 2 weeks. It's all beautiful to say, but it changes when we actually run through all the steps and the path that we had to go through. And that's when the shift happens. And I felt this shift happening, and it happens in the most beautiful way, softly. And and I noticed that only that has been bringing so much abundance, by accepting, allowing, and then when you allow, you accept, and then gratitude, just gratitude. And I do know how hard it is to be grateful in moments where we are suffering. Believe me, I've been there. Nobody can say that we are not going to be there tomorrow, but it doesn't really matter. But in moments where things are not very good, being grateful is even worse, and it's harder. I mean, not worse, but harder, because we tend to focus in the things that we don't want. But when we are grateful, we are actually denying that, and we are saying, no, I'm going to be grateful for the things that I want. Being grateful for the chance of, for example, imagine being in a relationship that is really bringing us down and that is making us sad, and being grateful at that point that I am here. I get to know that I don't want to be here, and I am grateful that I have a choice, even when it feels like we don't have a choice. Because then we are going to start to reframe that in our minds and see that we actually do have a choice. Whatever that choice is best for us at that moment, we do have choices. And I know it's a bit hard and not always very popular to say that we always have a choice, but we do. The truth is that we do have a choice. So today I chose to be grateful for all the experiences that I am allowed in my life and for everything. And I hope that by sitting here and talking about this, and I hope that there was of help to anyone. And if you're here today, I am grateful for you. I am grateful that you exist. And I am grateful that you paused for a minute and gave me your attention. Thank you so much. And I hope that you're doing well. And mwah, welcome home.